You'll take a man who could be with a woman who makes great money. He will cheat on her with a McDonald's employee because of the fact that he's not going where he's tolerated. He's going where he's celebrated. A man will literally walk away from a woman that makes a lot of money just because of the fact that he is not respected. So sometimes, ladies, when women say, oh, he's a cheater, I'm like, you have to be mindful of how you're making this man feel. You might be the one that's killing this man's energy. You might be the one that's breaking him down.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about looking for love in all the wrong places. I want someone to talk about this with me today. I've noticed that so many people are attracted to the same exact people. I'm gonna go into a quick story early. So I got a homeboy, and every time he brings a woman around, the women are identical to each other. It's like he has a type. And every single time he gets the same exact results because I genuinely believe that he's attracted to the same exact women. I've noticed that there are a lot of people who are attracted to certain behavior patterns. It's like a turn on, right? It's like they want the same kind of people, but they think they're getting someone different. The names may be different, but the personalities and the characteristical traits are identical to their exes. So when I wonder, I'm like, where do you find these people that are identical to the last person you dated? So they may break up and move on and be like, you know what? I'm in a new relationship. But then when you meet the person, you be like, yo, this is the same exact girl as the last girl you met. For anybody in my life, you know someone like that right now, let's admit it. Some people are attracted to certain behavior patterns. I've learned that a lot of people are very toxic. And they don't understand toxic. Before we get this thing started, I want to just get something off my chest, right? If a man yells and screams at a woman, he's considered abusive, right? If a man puts his hands on a woman, he's abusive. But how come it's still normalized that women can verbally abuse men and there's nothing wrong with that? There's like no accountability when it comes to that. I'm just curious to why. I understand men are supposed to be strong, but let's admit that people affect people's mental more than we give light. Let's just say what it is. People say things that literally mess up people's mental, and then they're supposed to be in the same space moving forward after you just violated this man. Ladies and gentlemen on my live, let's be honest. If a man does anything remotely to a woman, it's abuse. But ladies, you can be abusive yourselves also. A lot of women are very verbal abuse. They practice it, and it's normalized. My whole concept today, we're raising awareness. We're going to change that narrative. That ain't cool. Let's get that out the way. That ain't cool, right? For those who don't practice that behavior, let me give you a round of applause. To those who want to admit they are like that, and today they're going to start turning over a new leaf, let me give you a round of applause. So I'm asking, where do you find these people at? Sometimes, you ever heard conversations where people say things like, ain't no good man out here? But I always ask the women that say that, where do you go look for them, right? I think a lot of people are looking for love in all the wrong places. Right? Some of the bad places to find love is, right, alcohol and rehab facilities and nightclubs, at work, right? I think that is some of the worst places that you can meet a person. Some people say church, and I think so also. The reason why I'm saying that is because someone said I found them in shopping centers. Where do we find these people at? It's like a mentality that they're in certain spaces. I think it's time for us to start looking for people in different environments because it's a repetitional thing that a lot of people are getting the same results because they look like they're shopping on the same clearance racks for the same people. Yeah, I said it, clearance rack. You get in a bootleg situation because the bootleg person you're dating is bootleg. You get a low budget situation because the person is low budget. It's just the truth. So I'm asking these questions. Where do you get your mates from? Where you're looking? And that's why we're doing this topic today. Someone's gonna get heightened to awareness. Anybody on my live today, if you're married or you're in a long-term relationship, tell me, where did you meet this person? I see something that's very prominent nowadays is dating apps. I see something that's very prominent is social media. But my thing about this is on social media, a lot of people aren't who they say they are. They misrepresent themselves. It's easy to misrepresent yourself, right? You got to step outside your comfort zone, though, if you want to have or meet someone new. Go somewhere new to find something you never had before. That's the truth, right? Long term, someone says shopping centers. I think it's the most random places that we find love. And the truth of the matter is, love shouldn't be looked for. Love is supposed to find you. But sometimes I feel like people are looking for love in the wrong places because they want to find love. When you're ultimately adamant about finding love, you're going to find a lot of dysfunction because sometimes we force relationships that aren't meant to be, ultimately losing because the relationship was never meant to be. There are people right now who know that their situation is bad, right? But yet and still, they believe that they can change the situation by staying in a toxic situation longer. All you're doing is prolonging the obvious. You're going to fail in that situation because it's not meant to work. And that's the truth. Someone said we out here fishing. I agree. And here's the narrative, and I want you to hear this good, right? Listen to this good. A lot of times, women say there aren't a lot of good men out here. But watch this narrative. A lot of the men that they say aren't good, I wonder why you're getting the same kind of men over and over. When you're casting out a line to lure someone in, it's called baiting. 9 out of 10 times, if a woman leads with her finances, lead with what she has, and lead with her degrees, and lead with her cars, she's more than likely to find someone that's going to be financially needing them. The same scenario as a man. Notice, men lead with finances. I got my car, I got my job, I got my career, I got my finances. Now more women are leading with that same particular stance when baiting or dating or looking for a mate. So what happens ultimately is this. The women who are looking for these are baiting these kind of men are getting the same results as men. People that are very codependent. So let me say that again. If you baiting and you're throwing it out there that you're looking for, as soon as you meet a girl on a date, let's create a scenario. You're on a date, you're sitting down with her, first conversation, she's leading with everything she's accomplished, everything she has. Ultimately, you're gonna look at it like, damn, like most men either A, will become intimidated, or B, some men will look at it as a situation where it's a come up for them. So when you lead with what you have, you're gonna ultimately get someone that's needing what you have. In the same scenario as a man. But the difference is this. Men look forward to taking care of women. Women don't look forward to taking care of men. But when you start leading with what you have, you're more than likely telling that person, I can take care of you. Think about it. So ladies, when you lead with that scenario, you have to be conscious of what you're saying because ultimately you're telling someone, I can take care of you. Then you say things like this. These dudes are looking for a mother. You basically told him you can take care of him. Think about that narrative. You led with that. You told him you got money. You told him you got degrees. You told him you go your own home. You told him you got all these things. So yet and still you led him right into the palm of your hand thinking that he's getting a mom. There are a lot of people out here looking for dads and mothers. And it's the truth. They're looking for love in all the wrong places. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There is no pot of gold at the end of every rainbow. Believe you me, a lot of people believe that the honeymoon story, the Cinderella story, is real. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cinderella story is what you create. A relationship is only as good as much as willing to put in work. It's how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're willing to compromise, right? And the word I said again, we're going to say it again, is compromise. Because if you're looking for someone to accept all of your flaws, right? But yet and still you complain about all of their flaws, you are looking for a delusional situation. Let me say that again. You're looking for someone who accepts all of your flaws, but you're constantly complaining about their flaws. No disrespect, but who the hell would sign up for something like that? That don't even make sense. Let me say that one more time. Listen to this again. You're looking for someone who will accept all your flaws, but you're constantly complaining about their flaws, thinking that you're perfect, but yet and still you're going to realize that you aren't perfect. Sometimes, ladies, I'm going to go on record and say this, but somebody's going to get mad at the truth. A lot of times, a lot of women think they're better in relationships because men tend to not complain as much as women. I'm going to be honest with you. More so, in most cases, women complain about the relationship more than men, right? So sometimes women think that they're a lot better than what they are. Men compromise a lot more when it comes to long-term relationships. Don't get me wrong, women do tolerate more. I'm going to admit that. Women do tolerate more. But men do compromise more when it comes to relationships. In order for a relationship to last long term, a man has to compromise a lot. Let me say that again. I genuinely believe that in a relationship, women tolerate more, right? Men compromise more, right? I'll give you the scenario. For instance, if a woman is uncomfortable living somewhere, the man will compromise more. A man will literally suck it up just to make the relationship work. And that's what a lot of men do. So ladies, when you really believe that this man, or you're accepting him, or you're settling for him, it takes two people to settle in order for a relationship to have a settled situation. Both parties are settling. Because in most cases, I'm genuinely believing that the person that you envision yourself being with isn't the person that's in front of you. And vice versa for the man. The person that he's chosen is not the person that he thought he was going to be with. So both people are settling, right? It's not about what you can change, it's about what you can sustain. And that's the issue. You don't realize that your sustainability factor is what matters. How long can you sustain a healthy relationship? How long can you and this woman or this man go without arguing? How long can you and this person go without disrespecting each other? How long can you bite your tongue when you're complaining about little things? It's the weirdest scenario I keep seeing everyone talk about, is this 50-50 scenario. Ladies, and I'm going to say this, I don't care who get mad. It sounds weird as hell when a woman says she don't want to go 50-50 with a man, but she'll be in the house paying all the bills by herself, struggling. Then someone comes in and willing to give you half of the resources to alleviate the stress, the aggravation, and all the work that you have to put in to sustain your situation, and you don't see that as a value? Man, listen, your mother and father must be related, because that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Yeah, I said it. I said it. If you're paying 100% of bills, someone comes in your life and say, yo, I'll cut it in half, right? And you don't see the value in that person? Ladies, the ideal situation in 2024 is two people paying half in a situation. In most cases, if you keep watching social media and you keep banking on social media, a lot of women are going to find themselves by themselves. Very lonely, single, with a lot of cats. Damn. And why is that? Because it's not realistic. The things that some women expect. Men, if you believe that a woman can have children by you and still have the perfect body with aging, that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. But the fact of the matter is, we want what we want, when we want what we want, how we want it, when we need it. This is how we think. We have a superficial culture. And superficially, you believe that my woman will always have the perfect body. My woman and me will never fight. You're thinking crazy. You're talking about intermingling two different people from two different walks of life. But again, you're looking for love in all the wrong places. When a person tells me that they're in a relationship, automatically what I see is two people that's willing to give up the rest of their life to each other. It's a two-way street. I don't know who told you that you're the only value in a relationship. Who told you that foolishness? A person is willing to give you every bit of themselves also? Are you kidding me? A person is willing to put their resources together with you and help you build, and you don't see that as valuable? You got to be crazy. Because you know why? You watch social media. You might see Bernice Burgos find an NBA player at 45, 50 years old, and you thinking in your mind, who don't look like Bernice Burgos, you're going to get the same scenario. That's not happening. But in your mind, you believe it's going to happen. Why? Because you watch social media too much. A lot of people overly absorb social media and believe that it's reality. Let me say that again. You see these situations. They're not real. In most cases, celebrities' relationships are about procreating life and not even family. If you want to have a real conversation, all of these girls that you're admiring on social media who meeting men later in life are more than likely going to be baby mothers. We're in a baby mama culture and we think it's cool. We're in a baby daddy culture and we think it's cool. People are comfortable being baby mamas and baby daddies nowadays. And if you say something wrong about it, you're the problem. I have two daughters. I don't want them to be baby mamas. I want them to be a wife. But this is how low our culture has come, because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. You ever ask yourself, that perfect person that you envision in your mind won't want you? You ever said that to yourself? They won't want you because you're before not the perfect person. You have a woman with a reckless mouth want a very humble guy. You got broke women on social media talking about, I want a rich man. You got broke guys talking about they want multiple women. This is the social media world we live in today that's so false and fake. But we watch this world and we believe that that's the reality. You're looking for love, but you're not realistically looking for love. You're saying you're looking for love, but the love that you're looking for may not exist. It may not exist because it's all hypothetical and it's all relative to reality. Because your perception begets reality. Your perception is what makes reality. How you look at life, how you view things. There are people right now who believe that I can be so imperfect, but I can go find someone perfect. And this perfect being is going to want me, my imperfect self. This is the foolish mentality. This is the results of social media. People say to me, why do you think so many relationships are failing? I'm saying because you have a person complaining about things that are beyond normal. Ladies, if a man is paying half your bills and he comes home every night and he wants to be with you, you hit the lottery. And why is that? Because let's have a real conversation. Someone look it up right now. What is the ratio for men and women? Last time I checked, there was more women than men. So that means there are a lot of women that's going to die alone. Not by choice, but by circumstances. If somebody's willing to give you their whole life and you don't see that as a value, then you deserve every bit of to be single. I would never want to walk into a house with someone who don't know my value, who don't understand how abnormal I am. You have women, I'm going to say this on record, somebody going to get mad, but I don't give a damn. You have women who will date bums, and then you upgrade their life and they act like they always had that life. I'm going to say that again. You have women who will date a whole bum, and then you upgrade their lives and they act like they've always had that. That's how ungrateful the world is today. See what I'm saying? So about 3% more women. About 3% more women. Now I want to see black. Right? But this is the conversation. When you talk about culturally, right? And let's have this narrative. My man just showed me it's 97 men to 100 every woman. But you have to eliminate men that don't want relationships. You have to eliminate men that are gay. You have to eliminate, right? Also, you have to eliminate men that are incarcerated, right? This is the whole percentage now. The numbers start changing, right? There are 91 men to every 100 women. So about 8 women or 9 women, about 9 women won't be, for every 100 will be single. So 9 women out of every 100 will be single. So this is a narrative that you have to just speak logic. Right now, the ball is in a lot of men court because there are more women to men. Ladies, sometimes we got to lower our beliefs of what we expecting. We got to get out of this Cinderella story. But if I say this, some women are going to say, you're woman bashing. No, I'm truth bashing. I don't hate women. I don't hate men. I just want to raise the awareness of truth. But sometimes people they don't want to hear it. If I say this statement, right, being fairly honest, a lot of women will get inferior to this statement. As a woman ages, her chances of becoming married lowers. Is it my opinion or is this a fact? Guys, we just said, is it an opinion or a fact? Fact or opinion? What do you say, Dre? Fact or opinion? Fact or opinion? But if you say this, these days, someone gets offended. You're disrespecting me. I know my value. Ladies and gentlemen, you could believe that on a scale of 1 through 10 that you are every bit of 100. But when you go into the dating world has to represent or believe what you believe. Because the dating world don't believe what you believe. The dating world don't see you as 100. But the problem is you keep looking at the fact that who wants me? How about this, right? And I say this on record. Would you say that more women are attracted to men who have their lives together more? True or false? I'm asking my live. More women are attracted to men that have their financial lives together more. This is a true statement, right? But you want to hear something, ladies? More men are way more attracted to women that aren't argumentative, that aren't combative, and that's very respectful. But if you say this statement, the most aggressive girl in the world believes that she needs the top tier man, and she's deserving of it, when she can't even bite her tongue in anger. Again, men are more attracted to women who are not combative, who are not argumentative, who aren't disrespectful. The same way, women are more attractive to tall, dark, and handsome, right? And financially stable. They're attracted to that. So when a man states what he's attracted to, you're mad because of the fact that you don't fit those criteria. You want the man to accept you for being you, but you don't see that the man is accepting you for your flaws and all. We come with a lot of luggage, baggage, and mental illness. Among single women living alone, age 30 to 39, 70% have never been married, while about 3 to 34% of those age 50 to 59 have never been married. Damn. But when you look at these numbers, this is the foolishness mentality that a lot of people have. Ladies, if you've been married more than one time, you are blessed. You are beyond blessed. Because you got women that's going to die never ever getting married and want to be wives. And they're good wives. They'll never be wives. They'll never have a chance to be someone's wife, right? See, look, someone said, you're right. I'm 51 and never been married. The reason why is because we have issues. Not saying your scenario. I don't know your scenario. I don't know your circumstance. So I'm not talking about you in particular. But a lot of times we have very, very, very unrealistic standards. The man has to be perfect, ladies, in order for you to remotely even look at them. But you're far from perfect. A lot of women genuinely believe that they're perfect, but they're not. A lot of men, when I sit down and talk to ladies and men, and I'm going to be honest with you, the expectations of a lot of sisters are unrealistic. A man will say things like, let's go over some things right now. I want y'all on my live, all my men on my live right now, write some things that men expect in relationships, right? Let's write some things. I'm going to start. Faithfulness. Faithfulness. Would you agree with that? Men expect their women to be faithful, right? Men expect respect. Would you agree with that? So we said faithful, we said respect, right? We expect her to be good to the children. Good to the children. We expect her to know how to talk to me, whether in anger or not. That's what respect is. Respect is not wavered just because you're upset. Because 9 out of 10 times when your boss gets you upset, you go to work, you do not curse your boss out. You shut up, deal with it, and get your check. So that means you know when and when not to behave like that. If your husband or your boyfriend is getting all your aggression, that means there's something wrong with you. Would you agree with that? If your boyfriend or husband gets all of your aggression, but you don't keep that same energy with your boss, you're a clown. A whole clown. You don't need to be with a person like that. That's a whole clown. That means that person knows when and when not to speak like that. That's just the reality. But when you have these conversations, you say things like, you're looking for a very, very superficial love that don't make sense. Ladies, even Superman ended up in a wheelchair. And the man that you may be looking for, that Superman, you might have put him in friend zone a long time ago. The guy that could be good for you, ladies, sometimes y'all put him in a friend zone, right? Y'all put him in a friend zone. This guy could be a very good guy. But let me guess, by society's standards, he's corny. You're not going to say he's safe. You're going to say he's corny. I'm going to tell you something that's corny. And a lot of people get mad at these kind of things. It's corny when you meet a woman, when she's in high school or college or in her later 20s and early 30s, she see those guys as corny. She run around those trash dudes, and then she wants to double back and go get those guys now. But the guy don't want you no more because you done gave yourself up to the men that was like temporary situations. Let me say that one more time. When a guy is younger and he does the right thing, ladies, you see them as corny. You see them as corny. You friend zone them. You choose the bad guy. And then what happens is you get older, you age, you have children, and now you want to double back and get the good guy. But the good guy is not going to want you because you didn't see value in him before. But when you say this scenario, a lot of times people get upset of truth. The whole concept of life is finding someone that wants to spend the rest of their life with you, that wants to love you and respect you for who you are. That's true love. Love is not about the person kissing you behind, bending over backwards, buying you gifts on holidays and Christmases and Valentine's Days, and yet and still that is not what true love is. I genuinely believe that two people who are willing to put all their resources together, who accepts each other for who they are, that is more love than two people that's trying to buy each other's love. Ladies, if you keep talking about the economics that a man has, that means you're looking to be bought. You are something called the hoe. And he's basically your pimp. Look at that scenario. You didn't say, I want a man that can take care of himself, right? You say things like, I want a man that makes this kind of money. He got this, he got this, he got that, and he got this. So if you're telling me that's what you're only looking for, and the only thing you see valuable in a man, then you don't know what a man is. Economics is a piece of being a man. I'm going to admit that narrative. I'm not going to say being broke is cool. But when you look beyond resources, you'll see that it's more than just surface level. What about protecting? What about sacrificing? What about compromising? What about doing the things that she don't want to do? Men always get the short end of the stick. A lot of times when you see mothers, I'll give you a story. One time the young guy said to me, I don't respect my father. And I said, why you don't respect your father? He said, my father was never around. And I said, your father was never around? He said, my father was never around. So I said, what did your father do? He said, my father's a lawyer. I said, the reason why your father wasn't around, because chances are your mother didn't work. So the fact that your mother didn't work, your father had to work hard to pay the bills. He paid the bulk of the bills. Your mother made money, but yet and still she was able to spend the money on herself. But the father was compromising and sacrificing right? But I told him when he get that same level of responsibilities, he'll see how good of a father he genuinely had. It is not easy to be a great nurturer and a great provider, especially when you want to give your family a greater life. It's not easy. And I hate to say this, a lot of times when a woman get a great provider, she gets mad at the fact that he's not a great nurturer. Let me say that again. This is how ungrateful the world is, guys. I'm going to tell the truth. A lot of times when a woman gets a man who is a great provider, she gets mad at the fact that he's not a great nurturer. But the whole point of this great provider getting with you is because you're supposed to be the damn nurturer. So you want him to be the greatest provider and the greatest nurturer? Girl, you need to go marry Jesus. You need to go marry God. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. That don't make any sense. Ladies, y'all gotta stop with this whole weirdo hypothetical thinking. It's not real. It's delusion. Let me say that again. You want a man to be the great provider, right? Let's ask this question. I'm being honest, right? In most cases, do women want men to pay the most of the bills, right? We're going to be honest. That answer is yes. There's someone going to jump on his life, I can take care of myself. And then you go see their life be twisted. Sometimes the people that say they can take care of themselves, their life don't be that great. So let's be mindful. Sometimes you get people that say, I don't need no man, I can take care of myself. Let's see their living situation in their life is not that great. That's why they're overly aggressive, because they're not happy. A defense mechanism is pretending as if you don't need something to accommodate the fact that you do. You'll say that I don't need a man as a defense mechanism, deflecting your reality. Your reality is you aren't happy, so you're pretending to be happy by stating statements that aren't true. But when you look at it, it's the same scenario of reality. You aren't happy, so you're telling us you don't need a man because you aren't happy. This is the reality. Delusion has become reality. Perception has become reality. A man needs a woman needs a man all day. But when you're looking for love, you have to be realistic to what love is. You have to be realistic to what love is, right? Love is about accepting each other's flaws because you're a flawed individual, right? Let's be honest. Everybody in my life, I'll start. Raise your hand if you have flaws. Raise your hand if you have flaws. Do you have flaws, Sister Soldier? You have flaws? You have flaws? So if we all know we're flawed, how the hell do we want someone perfect? So basically, I'm going to exploit you for your flaws, but yet and still, I want you to accept mine. Girl, you done fell and bumped your head. You sound crazy as hell. You sound crazy as hell. That's how sick the world has become. Sick. I'm a friend of you. We're friends. I can do you foul, but you can't do me foul. And if you do me foul, you're the problem. Damn. This is the world we live in. But once you start raising awareness of truth, people get deflective and defensive of truth. Ladies, it's about finding someone who wants to love you to the end of time. Someone that adores you, someone that respects you. Most people, right, and I say this on record, more women will compromise their respect for economics. Would you agree with that statement? Would you agree with that statement? Do you genuinely believe more men will compromise their respect for economics? Or do you think more women will compromise their respect for economics? Right? Happiness is temporary, but love is permanent. I'm asking this question. Do you believe more men will compromise their respect for finances, or do you believe that more women will compromise their respect for finances? I believe more women. I'm going to tell you why. You'll take a man who could be with a woman who makes great money. He will cheat on her with a McDonald's employee because of the fact that he's not going where he's tolerated. He's going where he's celebrated. A man will literally walk away from a woman that makes a lot of money just because of the fact that he is not respected. So sometimes, ladies, when women say, oh, he's a cheater, I'm like, you have to be mindful of how you're making this man feel. You might be the one that's killing this man's energy. You might be the one that's breaking him down. Because when this man goes out to fight right? And his woman is not putting a battery in his back, believing that he can fight, right? Then of course he's gonna lose. Because the woman he's giving his heart to is not even encouraging him. She's not even encouraging him. And that's a reality. So sometimes you meet some girls, they'll say, oh, these guys ain't nothing. I'm like, listen, sister, some women are very strong. And I always say this, some women are alpha females. There is no way to slice it. And ladies, if you know that you're an alpha female, chances are an alpha man will not be attracted to you. Alpha men aren't attracted to alpha females. They need a balance. Because alpha only means a leader. Someone has to lead, right? Or we're going to keep combating each other and arguing with each other. Some women are better leaders than men. And I'll admit it any day of the week. But again, if you know that's who you are, why don't you just embrace your role and do your job? That's like me as a man knowing I'm an alpha man and complaining about the responsibilities that come with being an alpha. The other day, one of my guys, I had a conversation with him, and we were talking about the brand. And I said to him, why are you getting mad at people who you know that aren't leaders, but you're yelling about them about being leaders when you know they aren't a leader? If you know you're the leader, just take up the role and lead. Leaders don't complain about leading. We do what we have to do as leaders. You're going to wait for the situation to fall apart, then realize you should have just led. Alpha man, that makes sense. Alpha woman, that makes sense. You're going to complain about the ship that's about to go down when as the man or the alpha woman, you can go literally change the scenario before you have the problem. You're going to wait for the problem, complain about the problem, and believe that you're a great leader. That's a coward. That's cowardly. Because what an alpha would do is take up the slack where there's slack. What an alpha would do is fix what has to be fixed, figuring it out. That's what a leader is. We call that Mamba mentality, right? How do you have the Mamba mentality, but yet still you always complaining about the things that you should be doing? Super alphas. You're the alpha man, you're the alpha woman, you have to lead. You got to lead. You have to be acceptance of who you are. Stop compromising who you are when you know that's who you are. I am an alpha. Do I like the job every day? No. But I know that's my role. I have to lead. And I'm going to lead by example. But sometimes we don't believe that we should lead by example. We complain about what we are, and then we nag and... Listen, some women are very, very, very strong. Some men are very, very strong. Very, very strong people. Headstrong, personality strong, mind strong, everything is strong. So if you know that's genuinely who you are, why are you complaining about what you are? Just accept yourself. But the thing is, we look for love in all the wrong places. We look for love in all the wrong places. I know people who grew up in environments and only they dated a few people, but every single person they've dated is from that same 5-block radius. The same 5-block radius, square mile, same 5-block radius. I met a guy the other day, he told me he's talking to this girl. And some men say they don't care, but I call him a liar. Any real man wants to know where his woman's been. And I'm going to be honest with you. And the reason why I say that is this. Women, the same way women care about where a man is going with his life, men care about where a woman's been with her life. Because he knows once he's attached to her, she will represent him. So if she's very promiscuous, it makes him look bad. And I'm going to call the truth. Anyone that says, I don't care where my woman's been because he's not an alpha, he lying. And I'm going to call it what it is. Every man that's a good leader gives a damn about who they're leading. Every real man, I'm going to say this again. Every real man cares about what they're leading. They're not going to just attach themselves to anything and everything. A real alpha knows when he can't lead something. He will accept it and walk away from it. It doesn't mean that he's not an alpha. He's just not enough for that person. Because some people aren't leadable. They can't be led. No matter how you slice it, they just can't be led. So some men on his live, some women on his live, when you say that you're an alpha, you say like, oh my God, this person I couldn't lead her. She's not leadable. You have some rebels in the world. But when you look at their lifestyle and where they are in life, you'll see it's all out of whack. So it's not just you, it's them. They're reckless. No one can lead them. So don't blame yourself. It is what it is. But we're going to have these conversations, and a lot of times people get mad. We're shopping for the wrong relationships. We keep attaching ourselves to what our insecurities are. You attach yourself to every bit of your insecurities. You date the same kind of people every single time. And then you know what you do in your conversation afterwards? You say this, these girls is trash. You say these men are trash, but yet and still you don't see, no, you're picking are trash. Because you got to self-reflect before you can project. You got to self-reflect before you can project. But people don't want to self-reflect. They don't want to see themselves and see why they keep choosing the same exact people. Is it a coincidence that every man you ever met cheated on you, and then you're going to say every man is a cheater? But yet and still that corny guy that you wouldn't even entertain will never cheat on you, but you will never entertain that corny guy because that guy ain't fun. Because you like the rebel man. You like men that are rebels. That little dweeby guy that go to work and do the right thing every day, you'll never entertain him. You'll never give him a shot in hell. But then you're going to say what? Men ain't nothing, but all you women get in line for the same exact men. Say that again. Y'all get in the same lines waiting for the same exact men. There's a statement they said. They said about 10% of the men get all the women. Look it up. They said it. 10% of the men get all the women. Because all of them are attracted to the same exact thing. I promise you. 10%. And then we have conversations about the BBLs and the natural bodies. Real men love natural bodies. A stretch mark is not unattractive. A stretch mark with an attitude is unattractive. An out-of-shape woman with an attitude is unattractive. A rude woman whose body doesn't look crazy is unattractive. That's the truth. When a man knows that he's compromising what he could have, but to choose to deal with you, and yet and still you come with all this rah, 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 that's the unattractive that men don't like. Because I'm telling you, if you ask any real man what is more attractive, a natural body or a BBL body, he's going to say natural. But what's not natural is your mouth. What's not natural is your attitude. What's not natural is the way you want to lead a man. What's not natural is the fact that you cannot compromise. What's unnatural is the fact that you're not willing to compromise. What's unnatural is you think you always know it all. What's unnatural is you're verbally abusive. What's unnatural is the fact that you cannot sit the hell down and stop talking for a second because you didn't get your way. That's not sexy. But if you say that, you become the problem. But when I tell the truth, some women and some men can't accept the truth. I'm going to go on record and say this. And some guy going to get upset. But one thing I love about me, I don't give a damn. Damn. Men, it is every bit of natural that a woman needs economics to feel safe. When a man keeps talking about these gold diggers, there are not a lot of gold diggers as much as we like to give light of. Most women, by far, needs economics to feel safe. If the economics is not there, a woman will naturally not feel safe. So a lot of times when we say that these women are gold diggers, no, you find more women that are something called stability diggers. It is natural that a woman will see a man financially more stable as superior because it gives her a level of security that the broke guy cannot give her. So you're going to say she didn't holler at me because I don't have money? No, she didn't holler at you because she knew she was signing up for what? Struggle. And a woman naturally won't sign up for struggle. I'm just going to be honest with you. And then you'll say she has to be in the gym shooting me. Listen, my brother, you're 35 years old. You've been shooting in the gym for 35 years, and you haven't found no way to success. So therefore, she is not going to go shoot in the gym with someone who hasn't even started making strides toward their greater self. You still got to dream every single day about what you're going to do, but yet and still there is no actions. You're sitting in the room talking about you're going to be the next hot rapper, and you don't even go outside and promote yourself. You think you're going to be the next this, the next that, but yet and still you're not doing anything. A dream has a date and a time. A dream has a date and a time. Otherwise, it's just a conversation. When you say this to the men, they don't want to hear it. So when you're sitting there telling me that these women aren't good women because of the fact that she don't support your dream, my brother, you're 30 plus, 40 years old, you're still talking about your dream. And the sad part is the only time you get to enjoy that dream is when your ass is sleeping. Damn. And that's the reality. But if you have these conversations nowadays, men and women get insecure to truth. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm a real man. I don't give a damn. If you're going to rock with my content, you're going to know I'm going to shoot women. If you're going to rock with my content, know I'm going to shoot men. I don't have a preference of truth, right? But it's what it is. They like cheating on hardworking men. Listen, to my guy, Trucker, the truth of the matter is this. When we generalize people, you're making a poor statement. And the reason why is this. Sometimes you need to go look at what you've chosen to attach yourself to in what you call a woman. Ladies, you need to go look at yourself and see what you attach yourself to and see what you call a man. There are people that we attach ourselves to that don't have integrity, principles, and morals. You have people who live in people's situations and still cheat on them. You living in someone's situation. They have no morals. They have no principles. They have no integrity, right? I respect the guy that knows, like, look, at the end of the day, I need my woman. I'm not going to play no games to affect my situation. But you can't have look, there are men that cheat, right? And I'm going to say this on record. There are men that cheat. I'm not judging nobody, but at least be able to afford to cheat. Your family shouldn't financially be neglected while you're out here running behind other women. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm subscribing to co-signing men that cheat or women that cheat. But the truth of the matter is, if you know for a fact you're in a financially bad situation, by adding another person onto that income, you're going to lose more, and you think that's cool? That's even worse. That's even worse. Damn. There are men who don't take care of their children, who have multiple women, and their children don't even have anything. And this is the narrative. But if you talk about that, I become the problem. Listen, loser, that don't take care of your kid, I don't give a damn. You don't take care of your kids, I don't respect you. I don't care what you say. You're not a man. Ain't no person can tell. You telling me right now, I'm a real man. You don't take care of your kids. I'll tell you like this. You'll get mad at me for telling you the truth. I tell you, you want to fight me, go fight a goddamn bill. You won't fight a goddamn bill, but you'll fight another man because that makes you feel like a man. No, that is a complex of insecurities. That's what that is. If a person will jump on you faster than they'll go fight bills to put their family in a better position, something is wrong with that man. But if I say that, I'm the problem. But again, I don't give a damn. I'm going to always tell my truth. Right? We have to acknowledge truth. When you have these conversations, you have to be uncomfortable to know that certain things might not coincide with what you thought. Right? There's always something to something that makes sense more. But if you don't know how to look at the gray areas, right? You don't look between the lines. Then you don't see anything because you've been writing your whole story, but you don't see that some of the story and some of the chapter don't make sense. Everyone has this dream. What I'm trying to get at is this dream. We all want this fairy tale story. Right? I want the perfect woman who submits and never complains and washes all the dishes and still makes a lot of money and still knows how to be a great mom. We can all want these things. But here's the question. Are you delusional? Are you in reality? Are you being delusional? Are you in reality? right? This is the truth. I seen a story one day. The girl lived in the projects, and the guy also lived in the projects. So the girl was like, where you live at? He said, I live right here. She said, you live by yourself? He goes, yeah. So she's like, I can't mess with no man that live over here. You crazy? So he said, where do you live at? She said, she lives here. He goes, who do you live with? I live with my mom. He said, yeah, I live here, but I got my own apartment. But if we came together, we supposed to be able to upgrade together, right? If I'm in the trenches by myself and me and you come together, we supposed to be able to move out of the trenches. Because I can struggle alone by my damn self. It don't make sense. So some of the people that you hear in these stories on, they don't add no value to the story. They want all of these results with no adding of value. They want the men to give everything they have. Ladies, some of the men can't buy you homes and houses because you got him out here spending all his money on trying to make you look good. Let me say that again. Ladies, some of the men can't buy you houses and clothes and all of these things because they out here spending all their resources on you to live a lifestyle that you want to look like you live in. And that's the truth. But if you and this man was working together, I'm pretty sure you and this man will have a better life. If a Spanish couple can walk across the border from Mexico and literally build a life in America together in 5 years, why the hell 2 Americans can't do it? Because you know why? The Mexican couple ain't coming across the border talking about a man better do and a man better do that. You know what they're gonna say? Let's work together and let's get it done. But you know what we gonna say? A real man would pay this, and a real woman would have this, and a real man better do this, and a real man better do that. You're gonna really find your man only in your dreams because ain't no man gonna stay with you. A man will come along, get intimate with you, and haul tail for the road. And that's gonna continue to be the problem. Because your expectations are unrealistic. When he sits down and evaluate what you bring to the table, some free vagina that you done gave away to a few men, that's not value. Let me say that again. Some free vagina that you done gave to a bunch of men, that's not value. You know what's valuable? When you able to submit and listen to your man and treat him like the king and work with him and compromise and y'all can build together and it's not a competition, that's sexy to a man. The same way a woman needs financial security, protection, all of these things, we have to accept it, man. We have to accept it. But the moment a man tells what he wants, that gets kicked to the side. I will admit, a man will sleep with a woman with a fake body. But he ain't staying. He ain't planting his roots. A lot of the women running around with these BBLs, they single as hell. Why I say single is you're single until married. You can tell me you've been in a relationship for 15 years. Why y'all haven't got married? 15 years. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. He ain't put no ring on it. Ladies, we got to have a conversation and be honest right now, man. He said them BBL smell bad. That's funny. I don't know. Listen, the truth of the matter is, though, when we having these conversations, we got to raise the awareness of truth. And sometimes the problem with truth is it hurts. Because people get affected by truth because of the fact that they'll rather hear a lie. And your lie becomes your truth. Treating a man like a king, and he out here. See, that's the narrative of, again, Victoria. When you put people in a box, you lose. That man that's running around doing what you just said is not a king. A woman at 40 is not a woman because she's 40. Maturity is a behavior. And being an adult is a behavior. What makes, okay, right now, watch this question. If you meet a 21-year-old dude or a 21-year-old woman, she owns her own house, she owns her own car, she pays all her own bills, and she doing everything by herself. Would you look at her as an adult? Why? So if you have a 40-year-old woman who has none of those things, is she an adult? It's still a girl. Age don't factor being an adult. and vice versa for a man. When you telling me, oh, these dudes living up in his mama house, but you'll entertain him and you give him some. So ladies, when you keep saying these things, I'm like, y'all the ones sleeping with him. Y'all the ones letting him move up in your spaces. Because you suffer from being alone. You don't want to be alone. That's the problem. You don't want to be alone. So you will let him up, move up in your place, right? I'll give you a scenario. I was talking to one girl. I said, as a man, I have morals and integrity. I could never move into a woman's place and think I'm a man there. That would have to be a temporary situation for me, ultimately going to build something for my family to move into. That's the kind of man I am. Most men will meet a woman with a place and move up in there, plant their roots. And then ultimately, you know what the woman gonna do? She's gonna start complaining about who he is. Because ladies, the problem is in the beginning, you see the red flags and you ignore the red flags, thinking you can change the man. Yet instead, this is a grown person. You need to realize that you can't change him. Men, you meet a girl who don't want to pay no bills, who don't want to help you out financially, who's very materialistic. You like she's cute, and then you complain about the results. You got married to a man that don't accept you being a hustler. That's scary because he might be insecure to you making more money than him. You got married to a man that don't respect you being a hustler. Some guys want control, so therefore they feel like they're gonna lose control if you start making more money than them. I'm gonna tell you something. Any real person in a real relationship don't watch each other's pockets. They just make sure that each other have something in their pockets. Any real relationship don't watch each other's pockets. We just make sure that both of us are bringing something to the table. If I'm bringing the turkey, I better see the entrees and all the apps all around that table that she brought. It got to make sense. Because one thing about me, I'm a God-fearing man, and the Bible says you're supposed to be equally yoked. Yoked. You date the most unyoked person and you complain about the unyoked results. Every time I hear someone complain about their results, I always say the person that you're talking about is very unyoked with you. They're not yoked. They're not equal. They don't bring anything to the table. And the sad part is you try to make it work, but yet and still you don't see that you cannot make an adult an adult. The adult has to want to be an adult. The problem is, again, if you choose to date potential, you have to understand there are a lot of unfulfilled potential going on in life. I meet men, I meet women who have a lot of potential, but the potential never fruitions because of the fact that the person do not live up to their potential. It's unfulfilled potential. So you have to accept the fact that if you're gonna choose a woman who has potential, right? Y'all been together 3 years, she's been telling you she's going back to school. And she hasn't made one step, no stride, no nothing. I'll give you a story. One of my boys, his woman, and him got into an argument. And she said, I want to go back to school. And I said, you'll give her a shot. He said, she's been saying this for 3 years. So one day, she asked me for a ride. And she realized she didn't have to be to the spot. While she's getting a ride from me, she realized she didn't have to be to the spot for 3 hours. So they changed the time on her to be at a place. And we were almost to the place that she was at. I looked at it, I said, you know what? I'm gonna take you to college. In my head, I said, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna drive you over to the college. So I pulled into the college parking lot. And mind the place that she was going 3 hours later, she had all her paperwork, social security card, everything. She had all the paperwork because she had to bring her papers to the other place. But we had a 3-hour window, we had to wait. So I pulled into the school. I said, yo, look. She goes, what? You told him you want to go back to college. What are you waiting for? We got 3 hours to waste. Let's go get it done right now. She goes, I'm not doing that right now. And when I saw him later that night, I said, listen, brother, you're wasting your time on unfulfilled potential. She doesn't want to do anything. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This story is 10 years old. You fast forward, that girl still hasn't went to college. She still hasn't went to college. Damn. So again, if you choose to date potential, you have to know that some people are just saying things as defenses deflecting, and they say things because they don't want to hear your mouth. It's like a child. You know, when you say something to your child, they just say things because they don't want to hear your mouth. You have to accept that there's adults that do the same thing. They're going to say things just to shut you up. So her way of living her lie is her telling herself that constant lie. I want to go back to school. Because I'm going to tell you something. There is no mountain big enough. There is nothing that could be possibly in the way of a person that wants something with their life. Because I'm going to tell you something. If I had to move a pebble every single damn day, to move that pebble every day so I can get past that mountain, I'm going to do it every day so I can get there. Because if a person want to do something, there's nothing you can do to stop them. And that's the truth. So when you meet someone that say they want something and the actions is not speaking louder than their mouth, then that means their mouth is just talking. And the sad part is a lot of people just talk. And they waste their time. And they waste their life. And they waste your time and your life because you sit around and wait for their potential. So when you ask yourself this question, why are we still looking for love in all the wrong places? I think the first love outside of your creator should be the person that you look in the mirror and see. Once you fall in love with yourself, you realize that you will never accept anything that's not good enough for you. But it's easier for you to accept what isn't good because of the fact that you haven't even accepted yourself yet. A lot of us don't love ourselves. We say we do, but we do everything remotely that's against us saying that we love ourselves. If you love yourself, your actions will speak louder than your words. If you love yourself, you won't be fighting with yourself every single day. Every day you're fighting with yourself to make a step towards your greater self. A true lover of self would never have that problem. Someone don't have to tell me to get up and go work hard because I want it for myself. That's the person you need to meet. That's a person that you're going to want always because that person is truly who they say they are. For those who love my content, turn the bell notification on so you know when I'm going live. Not only that, the YouTube channel is called Empowered Dynasty. Empowered Dynasty. If you love my podcast, each and every Sunday we do this podcast. We drop it on every major streaming service. It's called Don't Let That Go Over Your Head. Don't Let That Go Over Your Head is the podcast. Listen, if you're rocking with my content, share, like my stuff, comment on my things. We're going to keep running it up to the infinity and beyond. Guys, I'm telling you, the whole premise of life is working on self. When I say this thing called success, I want everyone to understand it. Success only merely means becoming the best version of self. So to be successful, let's start working on ourselves so we can be the best version of ourselves. Till next time, guys, stop looking for love in all the wrong places and don't let that go over your head.